So,
Hey,
dude.
we are in Denver, Colorado. We just finished with the Superfan 3 event hosted by System76.
Yeah.
And if we look strange, we're not drunk. If we look tired, we are. Because they kept us busy like the entire day.
Yeah.
For good reasons. It was awesome.
Yeah. So, last night we went out to
Yep.
the One Up arcade.
Yep.
And we got to meet with the System76 folks. And then today, like all day today, we were at their headquarters.
Yep.
Previewing some of the new changes that they're making to Thelio.
Yep.
And some...
Yep, an overview of like the build process, how they will these into existence, the thoughts behind, why they made the choices that they've made. I feel personally they gave us so much information. I really don't think there's any way I can remember all of it.
No.
It's like a massive overload of information about their design process and their thoughts that go into everything they do. It was amazing.
Yeah. And I've been to all three of the Superfan events. You've been to two of them.
Two of them. Yep, been to the last one in, was it 2.5 years ago? It feels like it.
It feels
something
like it,
that.
yeah. I think it was 2017.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but I would say that this Superfan event is at least an order of magnitude better.
Yeah.
Just more polished and more. There was just more fun. Like I don't know, and there was just a different energy with everybody too.
And they treated us really well, actually extremely well, which we'll get to near the end of the video. The best is for last. And You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But it's, it started off, it's like the mission to Thelio was the theme, and they were all acting their part. Neon black lights and dimming the factory. We didn't even see like what the factory looks like in the inside because everything was dark until they finally revealed what everything looks like and turn the lights on so we could actually see where we were walking. The games were fun. Like what do you think of the games like that had us do?
The games were incredible. I really enjoyed the little they had like these little RC cars.
Oh yeah.
They were 2 wheels and they had like a little foot on the back that would drag. And then you would push a button and the foot would retract into the car, and then it would like push itself out really fast. So it would end up underneath the vehicle and it would like launch it into the air.
You have this thing with a controller. It looks like a very bad Chinese knockoff of a NES controller.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, but it was fun. So we had to navigate it through these things, and basically there was like a big reveal they're leading us up to, but they wouldn't tell us what it is.
Right.
And we had to find the clues, and it was a lot of fun. We had to land drones on these meteors that they made for us.
Were you on Team Green with me?
I was on red.
You were on red.
Yeah, I was on red.
So on my team, when we were landing the drones on the meteors were like made of, I don't know, like some kind of like foil. And so when our drones would land, literally everyone in our team landed like hanging off the side rather than flat on top. And it was hilarious.
How many people would you say came this time? Like just a guess, what, like a dozen at least?
In terms of like press and fans, I would say there was 12 or 13, yeah.
And meeting new contacts and friends and becoming acquainted with people is one of, if not the greatest parts about the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And then what do you think of the sand? Like, did you do
the
that part?
Sand, yeah. I mean, so they've actually had that sort of demo for a while.
Right.
And I really liked that. So it's like an augmented reality sandbox.
Yeah.
And there's like
literally,
actual
it's a sandbox.
Yeah.
We're not talking like a virtual machine sandbox with an application. We mean like a box with sand in it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and it was like a full box with sand and a projector overhead with a like first gen Connect that was like measuring the depth.
So that's what that thing was. Okay. And we were looking for clues, and there was like little letters inside, and I think my team was the first to get into this room at the end, where their CEO was there playing his role, a very dapper neon Crayola wizard.
Yeah, maybe like Willy Wonka actually.
Yeah,
more like Willy Wonka than
with more citrus-like clothing.
Yeah. And so
we get in there and we're like, we have the message and we think we got it. It said we stand on the shoulders of giants or something is our message. And he's like asking us questions. So like, what's the rest? I'm like, that's what the message is. And we're coming up with these random things. And then all of a sudden another team comes in, and then they have a completely different set of clues, and it's more of the message. And then the last team comes in. I don't know if you were in the second or third that came in, and then we put it all together.
Yeah.
And what was the message? I'm so tired. I'm trying to remember the entire thing now. It was
struggling.
a good message. Yeah.
We stand on the shoulders of giants to see farther than we could have before, or something like that.
It was something. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I'm sure I'll remember when I wake up.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what I'll remember, what I won't.
I'll remember as soon as we're done recording.
But then we solved the message, and we're thinking, okay, that's great. So Carl just grabs me by the shoulders and starts shaking me. And he's like, there's these alien things. If somebody calls him, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? What is he doing to me? And then all of a sudden we get Nerf guns, and there's these Space Invaders, which I love the Space Invaders. That's been my computer wallpaper for a long time.
Yeah.
And
these aren't like cheapo like Space Invaders you buy from the store. Right. They're not like paper cutouts. These are like, they use their laser cutter to actually cut these out. Yes. Nice. Joshua was telling me they used their laser cutter to cut these out, and they had how many? I mean, they probably had like 100 of these
at least.
Yeah.
And we had to shoot them with the Nerf guns because they were the aliens because the whole thing was a Thelio system, and they sent people out there that they haven't heard from again, and we were sent in to kind of try to figure out what actually happened, and that was the theme, and they all played their role. Yeah. The movie at the beginning, I should have mentioned, it was hilarious.
It was really good.
I want a copy of that movie, and I want in the vlog to kind of put some scenes in there. I believe it's their HR person, if I'm not mistaken, was Bjorn. The star. He did a great job.
He did a great job. I recorded some of it. I'll put B-roll on this.
Yes, that would be awesome. And so that was the start of the theme. So are we ready to talk about what happened after we defeated the aliens?
We defeated the aliens in a point blank massacre. Yep. We rushed up and over them, and then as soon as we defeated all of them,
sirens. There's sirens went off, and then I saw this door open. It's like a garage door. I hear sirens in the back. We're in the city in Denver. God knows what that's for. Hope they're okay. Anyway, so the door goes up and steam comes out, and there's a bunch of Thelio desktops.
Yeah, with custom engravings on the front.
Super fan engraving. Yeah. We all are getting a Thelio, and it's not just like here's a computer. It's engraved super fan. So that's ours. It's just like a very special thing. Like, we're going to have computers that are made literally for us. Here's a computer, I'll never give it up. It could be 20 years from now and completely obsolete. But look at this thing. And they're so beautiful.
They are. And then after they told us that they were going to give us these machines, they turned the lights on and they took us on a tour of their manufacturing facility. And
we do have footage of that.
Yeah, we do.
The audio may or may not be of good quality.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
We may or may not be doing voiceovers, or we may or may not even be cutting it into the video right now.
Right.
But yeah, we were walked around the process, and what's amazing to me is, the open source mentality is awesome, and the desktops are made with that same mindset.
Mm-hmm. So their machines that they're making, the Thelio, are open hardware,
right?
And they are publishing these schematics.
I think they may have already done that. If I'm not
I think
mistaken.
They have. Yeah.
They made some revisions, but basically, Carl was mentioning that if you have the machine to make it, you could do that. Obviously, what are the ramifications of this? Because I want it to be huge, because it is to me.
Oh yeah.
Whether or not it catches on, I mean, this could become a scheme that's used, and you see it everywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely, and the fact that they are so open about this, it speaks to their character as a company. Right. They truly care about the community.
They do.
That's why they do the superfan events. Right. It's not just to be like, you get a Thelio and you get a Thelio.
I know. I was thinking about the Oprah thing, right? Like you get a computer, you get a computer. Check under your seat. You got a card, free computer.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, but. For me, it's all in the eyes. You could tell if somebody's acting or if they really like what they're doing by looking into their eyes. Yeah. If their eyes are sparkling, you can't hide that. You can't fake that. Right. And each and every person in there, they're all about this. They're they live and breathe this. They are passionate about it. They just love what they do. And Carl especially just can't stop smiling. And that's such a great thing, that he loves this.
Yeah, he does.
We love this.
We do. Yeah, Carl is such a just gregarious person, you know, and you can talk to him about anything. In fact, we had this round table after they showed us
the round table that went on for a long time in a good way.
It was a 3.5 hour discussion.
It felt like it. It felt like I was watching, like, the length of time I could have watched the extended edition of one of the Lord of the Rings movies. And I mean, but the time flies by because you have all these fans and press people. We had
so many
someone from
people.
Linus Tech Tips was there. I forgot his name. They're all brilliant. They're
all
brilliant in different ways.
And the thing that stands out to me too, if Steve Jobs were alive and he were to have this kind of roundtable with Apple fans would be able to ask questions, but I don't know if Steve Jobs would be able to answer half of the questions that Carl was able to answer.
They are
like
System76 is the Apple. It's like they're the inverted Apple.
Yeah,
because they are all about Linux. You know, like Apple's all about Mac OS, but Apple's like, this is what you want. Like, we're going to make this thing. This is what we think you want. Here it is.
Yeah.
And they are making a product for Linux fans. But when I say inverted Apple, it's because they are to us, and this has never been more clear, they are to us what Apple is to Mac OS fans, right? They're all about this. This is ours. They're in our corner. Linux fans giving us a product that is designed for us. And also by us, because, you know, we were at the last Superfan event, having a round table, and some of the things we recommended then are in this now.
Yeah.
And they're for us. But it's not like, this is what you want. It's like, what do you actually want? Is this okay? Like, they would literally say, this is what we're doing. What do you think about that? Do you like it? But
well, they were talking about the changes that they are making to Thelio.
Right.
Just like the tweaks that they've made. To the design, like solving some of the cooling things and the fan.
They are.
What is it called? The fan curve.
There was the noise. They have a sound booth. With a bunch of foam.
Cool.
It's very cool. It looks like a Rubik's Cube, and they have some measurement devices in there to know, like, how loud are their computers.
And they were saying that different manufacturers have different microcontrollers in the fans, and even though your motherboard's delivering like PWM to control the fan, the microcontroller converts that into whatever and then changes it into something else. So they don't, a lot of like fan manufacturers don't have actual control, like fine control. So what they're talking about is like being able to calibrate that stuff and get it like on point so that they have absolute control of the fan speeds, so that they can ramp up when they absolutely need to, but maintain a more what's the term that they use, the passive cooling.
Cooling, yeah.
But only like up to a certain point, and then they kick in the fan when they need to. And that's really cool. And that was like one of the things that Anthony from Linus Tech Tips was talking about, is that like in their review of the Thelio, they said that the audio profile, the sound profile of the Thelio was, in the first stage was like not great. It like the fan curve was not dialed in perfectly, and it would ramp up and down, and it had like these issues. And so System76 was like, you know what? We hear that. And they went and built this like Rubik's Cube shaped room with that like soundproof, so they could do actual testing. They have equipment in there that does actual audio testing, and because of that, they've been able to build or make small tweaks to the case,
and fix the problem. What I like about this is it's like other companies that you buy this model of a computer, and then the next model they fix the problem. What they're doing is, let's just say you bought the computer and it has this fan issue or something. It's like, okay, well, that sucks. You send it in for repair, and they will replace that component with the current revision of that part of the computer. So what you get back, it's like every piece can be swapped out. So if that component was found to create loud noise or have some kind of flaw, they'll throw that out when you send it in and put the new one in. And give it back to you, and then it's iterative like that. It's not like this is all one unit, and if one thing is bad, you throw out the whole unit. It's like you have your computer, replace the part that's bad, or maybe it's a firmware update, whatever it is. It's all like interchangeable, which is awesome. And I mean, there's just so much that they went over, and
they were talking about Pop OS. and things that they're doing with Pop! OS.
Oh my God! Like I am just fangirling right now.
I'm so excited about this.
Like
the thing that like really stood out to me. So they were asking what we all thought about stuff,
right?
And every time, I would say maybe half the time, someone would say, "I have a suggestion." Carl would get this smile on his face and be like, "Oh yeah, we're already doing that." Like,
and some of the things we asked about, it's like. He's like, okay. Like I asked him like he was just asking for random examples of things they could do. I said, I would like an accident protection warranty that I could pay extra for. That if my laptop spills on the stairway and takes a tumble, I want to pay more. He's like, oh yeah, like didn't say he was going to do it, but he's like looking like he's really wanting to consider this. But as far as Pop! OS, to get back on topic, I mean, they're doing some things. I'm trying to remember everything. So 2004 is going to be like seemingly a big release. Like I thought 1910 was a good release, but the release notes don't have that many changes, although more changes came later. But what are some of the things you remember about 2004? Because I'm trying to remember everything.
I can't remember the specifics of that. Like the thing that stood out to me was the tiling thing.
The tiling window management.
Yeah.
Because we're revealing things that no one else in the media knows right now.
Right.
This is great. We got to get this video out quick.
Yeah.
But basically, they're testing i3, not because, we're going to have an i3 version of Pop! OS, but they're going to build an extension targeting 2004 that gives you the keyboard shortcuts to do the tiling that you can do in i3, but in GNOME. And I was talking to him after this because, I like window managers a lot. But what keeps me from using them is if I have it on a laptop, there's no intelligence at all that if I, send my display to the external monitor and then I got to go somewhere. So I yank the display cable out and I go out the door of my laptop, open the lid, the screen is blank because there's nothing underneath that says, yeah, I should probably reactivate the display. It's a window manager. You can't expect it. GNOME has all that because it's a desktop environment.
Yeah.
And they're going to put that in as an extension so you can have the best of both worlds.
Right. And
that's huge.
So one of the things is like Carl has been working on this ultra-wide monitor.
I love his monitor.
I
want it so bad. It's so cool.
It's like 1330 or no, what was it? It was like 3000 something pixels wide and 1080 pixels
it's
tall.
Like you can't look at the thing and see the whole monitor unless you back up.
Yeah.
It's not like a big monitor like no. It's like
it's
this
that tall. Yeah, and very wide.
And it's like taller than the view
Your
of
field
us.
Of view. Yeah. It was
like
insane.
3 displays long.
Yeah. And like
I want that monitor.
I want it too. It's really cool. And so they're working on an extension for GNOME that will allow you to have all the keyboard commands that you're used to with i3 and other tiling window managers to allow you to like automatically tile your windows in GNOME, and you can do the expose stuff. You can do like all the normal things you're accustomed to in GNOME, but also you don't have to take your hands off the keyboard.
Shortcuts for the win.
And that's super cool, and I'm very excited to try it. I want to see how this extension works in multi-monitor mode.
But I mean, keep in mind, we said extension. We didn't say, you're going to have to download Pop! OS. I mean, obviously it's going to be baked in, but we said extension. GNOME supports extension. That means you could put that extension in Debian or whatever you use theoretically and get that benefit. They're not saying you have to use Pop! OS to get this.
Yeah.
Like, it's an extension. You can have this, and you can use it wherever it makes sense to use it.
Exactly.
And then the other thing, I'm starting to remember some things like Flatpak support.
Flatpak support, yeah.
In PopShop. And it's not like, how some distros do it, where it's like, this is the version you get. Like, we're going to say you really need the Flatpak version of this. Or they'll make a recommendation. So they might make the recommendation that, the Flatpak is newer in this application than what the distribution repository ship with. But you might not want that. Maybe you want nothing to do with Flatpaks, or you just don't want that version for compatibility reasons. You'll be able to click on PopShop. It'll be a drop down. You say, thanks anyway, but I want the Debian package instead. Click on the Debian package, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
And that's great for new users because if they don't care, they hit the install button and it works. And they don't care how it works.
Right.
It just works. But for us, we might have specific compatibility needs, and that's not for us. We want the Debian version, whatever the case might be. That's going to be in PopShop. They're doing theme changes and trying to make the framework around GNOME better for, I keep saying GNOME, whatever. They're trying to make the framework better overall because theming is, I love GNOME. It's a disaster It's a disaster in GNOME. Theming is a complete disaster.
Well, so theming doesn't really exist
technically,
the way
no, it doesn't exist.
Exists in
right.
any other desktop environment. What they are doing is styling, right? And so like you can GNOME at GuadEC 2019, System76, Purism, a bunch of other people were there, Elementary, I believe, too.
Yeah, because they have an in-house person there. Cassidy works on that project.
Right.
So.
And so all these people were hammering out the details for specifying styling in GNOME and to actually unify it, to allow brands like System76 to customize the Adwaita theme to more closely match their brand as System76.
But it can work in the opposite, because the app developer might say, I don't want Pop! OS colors on my app. We have a branding scheme that we adhere to, that we paid a heck of a lot of money to somebody to design for us. They can override that operating system or desktop environment color scheme to make sure that the intended color scheme of their vision is on their app.
Yeah.
But so the problem that we deal with in Linux is like the hybrid graphics thing, right? Because you can run on the Intel card, and it's like, well, the games aren't going to run well. And you could do hybrid graphics, which will make the games run well if you tell them to run on NVIDIA. But how do you tell them that? And they are going to look into GNOME settings to go inside there, and you can just add your game. You just click the button, browse, or get a list of your games, click on it, hit the button, and that game will run on NVIDIA.
Yeah, so this is like the applications in GNOME's settings, right?
Right.
And so in there, for each application, you can actually go in and specify if you want it to run in dedicated graphics or integrated graphic mode.
Yes,
and so that's really cool. I mean, because they just introduced, or have they done it already? The hybrid graphics mode.
So it is there. So it's just not all the way there. So in 1910, it was not on the release notes unless they've added it. If you look at this, you will not find it. And then it's like 2 weeks later, I'm kind of feeling like, 1910 is a good release. It's not that exciting. And then they're just casually talking in the chat room about hybrid graphics being a thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not even on the release notes. It's like, oh, just install your updates and reboot and it'll be there. I'm like, oh, well, you just like randomly enabled hybrid graphics for all your people. I know it has to be on a certain chipset, certain video card, vintage or newer for this to work. And it's like, they don't even brag about it. But I asked them, why don't you guys like make this a big thing? It's like, oh, we're not done yet because we need to put a GUI, but they're going to backport that. You don't even have to run 2004. Like he was saying 1804 will get this. And that's kind of huge because some games, like you don't want all games to run on NVIDIA. Like Final Fantasy VI is my favorite game of all time. You don't need NVIDIA for that.
Right.
So I'm not going to enable NVIDIA and have this fan in the battery drain to play Final Fantasy VI, let's be honest. But I can make that decision as the user. This game runs on Intel. This game runs on NVIDIA. Whatever I want. But then they're actually looking into making this a desktop spec to make it like respected and give the developers a way to say, we recommend that this be run on NVIDIA, put something in that spec so the user doesn't like know to do this, like it'll just launch. And they have to curate this, which there's probably no getting around that, but they're willing to take that on.
Yeah. Yeah. And props to them. I mean, it's such a cool idea.
It is.
When I reviewed the Adder workstation, like I had to like switch between manually the two
reboot
reboot, and it was like that sucked.
We Linux users hate rebooting so much. We don't want to do it.
And so the fact that like they're doing the hybrid graphics now, that's freaking cool, and that you can like specify apps that you want to run in integrated mode or in dedicated mode. I mean, that's just so cool.
And then they talked about what's next, what's coming, what we don't have now. They saved this to the end.
Yeah.
They did.
This is like the reason they invited us here.
It was one of the biggest reasons was to ask for our feedback on their next initiative, and the next initiative is building laptops in-house. We've all kind of knew they were going that direction, but it's kind of like, it takes a long time. We don't know if it's going to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They're starting the process in January. That doesn't mean they're going to be shipping anything in January.
Right.
It means like they're going to be building the prototypes, and they're asking us like, what do you guys want to see in a laptop? and getting our feedback. Do you like the track point? What kind of key travel are you looking for? How many millimeters it crosses the line? They wanted to know how many millimeters is just millimeters, not inches. Millimeters crosses the line.
Right.
On this.
How thick is too thick for a laptop?
It was a big part of that discussion. Yeah. The design of everything.
And people were giving their opinions on like the size of the trackpad and the play and the hinge.
Yes, that was a big thing for a lot of people. You prefer it to be like you can like open it wide and you can kind of you can be like here and just kind of like have it open, which makes total sense.
Right.
And that's not possible. I don't think on any laptop they have right now.
Yeah.
And
battery life.
Was huge, and so they're taking this on next. So
I mean, even stuff about like the badges, like for your the little stickers for your CPU or whatever, like they were even people were even talking about that, and Carl was like, yeah, we hear you there.
But then my question was like, how like anybody who knows anything about manufacturing, and I know nothing, but I do know this: minimum order is required for pretty much everything. Like even when I hear like Purism talking about their process, they had to have in order for Intel to even like grace them with a discussion, they would have to have like a certain number of motherboards ordered to even get their attention.
Yeah.
And not only did they do this, I mean, our event was sponsored by Samsung, AMD like sponsored it too. Like they sponsored the CPU of the computers they're giving us. They had sponsors doing this. Intel is they got that covered. Like they're having that conversation. They're at the point where they could sit down and talk to Intel about making this happen.
Yeah.
On laptops.
And it was really cool too. Like that obstacle course where you drove the stuff through. Did you notice that those were Ryzen boxes?
I think I'm having vision problems, to be completely honest with you.
It was so dark in there,
see,
dude.
I've noticed you're noticing things better than me, because I'm just squinting, is that what is that down there? I didn't even notice a big Rubik's Cube thing that was right there. It was dark in my defense, which was a sound booth when they turned the lights on.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're going to be building things like laptops in house, and
it's so cool.
That's amazing to me.
They were talking about doing the design of the PCB themselves. And getting that manufactured for them, and then doing
open firmware is going to be in there. It's not on the Thelio yet. They want to, but I'm sure they will. I think they said they will. Did they say they will? I thought they did. I don't remember.
They said they're working on it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, but then the laptops, that's already a thing right now. You could buy a Magalago Pro, or I believe it's a Darter Pro with that on their core boot right now, which is actually in their GitHub. You can actually see the code, but that's going to be in their Intel motherboards because we're working with Intel developers to get core boot and make that happen. And I was kind of surprised, like Intel wants core boot to happen, or I don't know if they care or not, but they have their own initiative in that regard. But it's everything for them is coming together. And the desktops, we went to the second Superfan. It's here's what we're thinking about making, or this is what's coming, and they had the prototypes. And when everyone else saw Thelio, it was oh yeah, I remember that from a while back. You guys are just now seeing this, but it's not news to us.
Yeah.
But that's preparing for the next phase because the desktops are easier than laptops, let's be honest. But that's where the real difficulties come with those little tiny parts and that little chassis. And that's what they're taking on. And
I'll tell you right now, I am very excited to have a custom built, made in the USA laptop from System76. That is something that I am so excited for. And they were talking about they were asking us what materials they want. We want them to make this machine in, and it's they were throwing out carbon fiber and
did they say magnesium alloy or was
magnesium alloy? They did say that. There was another one too, but.
So they're basically also saying they're going to start building palm rests first, I think, and then just use them themselves.
Leather was another one.
Yeah, that was one because they want to use it and kind of see how it wears down with usage to know what not to do.
Yeah.
Before they come out with that, and so
the screen too. They were talking about.
They're talking about possibly giving everyone a choice because there's some OLED screens are expensive and not everybody wants that.
The Infinity Edge type thing as well.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember something about.
Well, I
that.
mean, it was kind of like that part was impulsive, which that part
Yeah.
kind of made me worried because it's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they were talking about small
like,
bezels.
okay,
That's what they were talking.
it's not that easy
Yeah.
to just say I'm going to do that, like
Right.
because but then the problem is actually it's not a problem. Carl's so excited about this, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like
You
he
can tell.
wants this, like it's like how does this guy sleep? He's so into this, like he's probably dreaming about these computers and thinking about it all day long,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing, but.
Yeah.
This is what it all comes full circle now because that's what they're for, that they're all about it. And I just wish I could remember like everything they talked about, and I'm gonna probably wake up in the morning like, oh, I should have mentioned that other thing that we're too tired to remember right now, because I don't even know what time it is with the time zone difference from Michigan, but like it's late, but it's great because we were treated very well, especially well. I mean, we got a Thelio, man. Like we're gonna get a desktop.
So beyond stoked for that.
I can't wait for that to come.
I have like so many ideas what I'm gonna do with that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about right before this happened. I'm like, I want a new desktop, and I want a new laptop.
Yeah.
Now I'm not buying a desktop obviously because I got one coming, and I don't want to put any money into a laptop at all. I'm just going to put all of it aside for the day when that thing ships.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my money on it right then and there. I'm off the market for computers completely because I'm all set.
Yeah.
Even for the laptop, I'll just use what I have until the day comes where, I mean, why buy something new at this point? Because they're going to be coming out with something at some point. Yeah. They did not give us a timeline. No. They did not say when we can expect this thing to be willed into existence, and to set the expectations. I think it was 2.5 years ago, roughly, when they revealed the then unnamed Thelio desktops.
And they had prototypes at that point.
They had prototypes at that point, so it could be 3 years or more. Who knows how long and it's going to take them to make this happen.
Right.
So it's not coming that in January, but they're going to be prototyping in-house, and they may or may not even show anything yet until they have something to actually show.
Right.
Until they actually know what they want to do, what materials, what screens. And maybe I'll try to sneak over there in like 6 months to a year and, hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
I'm looking around the room, like anything new? Like, can I see what you guys got going on here?
Yeah.
To get a hint of what's coming, because I'm really excited for everything that they're doing. Like, Pop! OS has already stopped me from being a distro hopper.
Yeah.
Which is huge for me because I get tired of the same old, same old. I need something like different, but they keep solving my problems for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna like give Pop! OS another spin.
Yeah.
I'm a Manjaro user right now, but everything they were talking about here is like made me want to try it again.
And I love Manjaro. I love it. And all these other distros, I just want to be running them. I'm thinking about dual booting, to be honest. Like, I'm thinking it'd be really cool to just go back to trying that again, to kind of try different desktop environments and different distros. But it's like, I'm really busy. I have work to do. Pop! OS just works. I keep falling back into it every time. I could last 2 weeks on another distro, and then I'm back to Pop! OS every time, personally. But they're all good. Don't get me wrong. But it's like Pop! OS is like, what do you guys want? What's important to you? What even asked us like, what don't you like? What's problematic right now? And we had some things to say. I mean, it's like, I love Pop! OS, but yeah, we got some things to say. Like, audio issues was brought up by me and another gentleman, at least, where I love GNOME. The audio thing sucks. 3 of us,
sucks.
including you. So 3 of us claimed that, and I agree with that, is that audio sucks because it'll default to whatever the last sound card you put in, which could be a microphone that you're just wanting to get audio from.
Yeah.
And it has some playback capability, and GNOME's like, okay, that's your default sound. No, like, I have a surround system. How about we use that for my audio and blacklist everything else? And I have to stop making me switch back to it every time I plug something in.
Yeah. But
that was brought up as a pain point. Other pain points were brought up, and they're looking into this. Like, okay, we need to do a better job with that.
Yeah.
And other things too.
They're just so open, and they're like. They really are like a truly open source company in every way.
Not defensive at all.
No, and
never.
And they are willing to take your criticism and take it to heart and do something about it.
Like other companies, like, well, I'll have you know, we spend a lot of time on that, and it's actually not a problem. That they're not like that. They're taking it all. Like, okay, like they're making themselves vulnerable to the onslaught of these passionate technologists, including ourselves, like throwing everything at them.
Yeah.
For 3.5 hours.
Right. I just wanted to say to the team, to Carl, to everyone who made this possible, to the sponsors of this event, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing experience. I hope you do it again soon.
To have been a part of this is to not be like hearing about it, but to be telling you guys about it, and the passionate people that we got to interact with, the new connections that we've made, and you know, being all about it. Like, I can't thank them enough. Like words can't describe like the impact. I mean, each individual person, but like all my videos are going to be edited on this thing now.
Yeah.
It's part of my channel from now on. Until I don't think I ever want to stop using it. It could be like slow and 15 years old, and like it's my computer. It's got the thing engraved on the front of it.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. You guys are amazing and passionate. Like, we love you guys. Like, you guys are awesome.
Yeah. If you believe in the work that we do here, you can subscribe to our YouTube channels. We've only got like 10 seconds left before it shuts off. So thank you for watching this video, guys.
Check us out. Check the links below and all that other stuff.
Yeah. We will talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
7 seconds, dude.
7 seconds? Yeah, we got it out.
Dude,
cool.
That's awesome.